David Ayer has been a controversial figure in Hollywood for a little while now, especially when it comes to the elites, who are very angry at him for continuing to buck the system of what is happening in Hollywood with all of the insanity that is going on. And today we have this crazy rant where he completely shreds Hollywood in the most epic way that you can think of. So let's go ahead and get into this and see what he has dealt with when it comes to the insanity that is Hollywood. So David Ayer discusses how Hollywood broke him by messing with Suicide Squad, and this was a huge red pill moment for him. Now, as we know, David Ayer put out the Suicide Squad movie that came out in, what was it, like 2016 or something like that, which had, of course, the debut of Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn and everything else. And that movie, of course, was very poorly received. A lot of people trashed that film, rightfully so, because it was awful. But David Ayer apparently has his own David Ayer cut, which is not the version that we saw. So director David Ayer isn't shy anymore about expressing his displeasure with Hollywood, which stems from his experience working on Suicide Squad. The leadership at Warner Brothers and DC fluctuated back then as much as it does today, as did their vision for DC on the big screen. They never had a consistent approach or structure, which we found out from former executive Diane Nelson. Ayer was game to take on a new project, but he got caught in this fracas because brought on by a sudden panic. He explained on John Bernthal's podcast that Batman v Superman and Deadpool caused the studio to change course and overhaul the tone of Suicide Squad, which is just so stupid, man. And this is one of the things that Warner Brothers has done so poorly since the beginning of all of the DCEU nonsense. They have been trying to chase Marvel's tail this entire time. They have continued to try to pander to the Marvel crowd, and because of that, it has resulted in nothing but cringe, poor content. So this is what they had to say here.
The industry was the thing that's hurt the most.
All right, so Hollywood, I tell people, is like watching someone you love get fucked by someone you hate.
Damn. That's a pretty good way of summarizing Hollywood.
So, you know, the big one is like Suicide Squad. That broke me. That handed me my ass.
How so?
Come right off Fury, right? Had the town in my hand.
And Fury is a great film, guys. You have the director Fury, you give him Suicide Squad, and then after he makes a film, you're like, nah, we're gonna completely F up everything that you did with this film. It's crazy.
And could have done anything, and I did do anything, and you know, go on this journey with it, and the same thing, like authentic, truthful, let's do all the rehearsal, let's really get in each other's souls, let's create this amazing collaborative thing, yeah. Right? And then Deadpool opened, right? And then they never tested Batman versus Superman, so they were expecting a different result, and then they got hammered by all the critics, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna turn David Ayer's dark, soulful movie into a comedy now.
And I hate it, man. I hate it. Now, of course, there's a lot of things that are in Suicide Squad that I have questions about. They're like, is this actually going to be good? Is David Ayer's cut of the film actually good? Because you have, like, Jared Leto's Joker, which I think is the worst Joker of all time, and so many other things in that film that are pretty cringe and awful, but I would still love to see his film, you know? And him talking about the fact that Hollywood broke him over that film. Warner Brothers broke him over that film. This shows you just how absolutely ridiculous Hollywood is, which is why for EpicVerse, it's so important for us to allow creators to express themselves and to create. That is something that is very important to us, is to allow creators to tell the stories that they want to tell. That's something that we're doing that is completely different than what Hollywood is doing, of course. I respect David Ayer so much for speaking out against a lot of the nonsense that's going on in Hollywood, and I hope that he continues to get more red-pilled and that he continues to speak out and become a bold voice within the insanity that is Hollywood. With that being said, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all in another video very soon.